Okay. So we started this lesson without recording, so we'll pick up here. We just went on to this page. If we know a point and the slope of a line, it's easy to write an equation in point-slope form because the word point and the word slope tells us those are the two things we need to know to write an equation. So for our example, a line passes through the point -3, 6 and has a slope of -5. What is an equation of the line? So here's another little cutout of what point-slope form is. We are going to need the point, and we're going to need the slope, and we're just going to plug it into the formula, and that's our equation. So we have y minus y1 is just the y coordinate from up here. So I'm going to take this 6, and I'm going to put it right there, equals, my slope is -5, parenthesis, x minus, I'm going to use my x coordinate from up here since it's minus a -3, this becomes a plus. Minus a negative is plus. That's all there is to it. We're just plugging in for the letters that are there. Any questions about that? Okay, let's do another example together. A line passes through the point 8, -4, and has slope 2/3. What is an equation in point-slope form of the line? I'm going to write out my general equation. Any volunteers to fill that in for me? Athena, go ahead.
Y equals
No, we need y minus.
y minus 2 or is it 3?
No, we want to use,
-4
so minus -4 becomes +4.
equals 8.
No, we want slope next.
2 over 3 parentheses x minus 8.
Good. Okay, I want you guys to try the next one. So I'm going to pause the video for a minute. Okay, just in scanning quickly, I'm seeing a lot of correct answers. Volunteer to tell me what this equation would look like. Gretchen, go ahead.
Y plus 4 equals 3 parentheses x.
Good. Any questions about how she got that? Okay, good. Let's take a look at how we graph an equation in point-slope form. Now, remember when we graphed equations in slope-intercept form, we started with the y-intercept, and then we used the slope to figure out the next point. Well, when we use point-slope form, we're going to graph the point first. So instead of the y-intercept, we're graphing the point that we know, and then we're going to use the slope to find the next point, and then we have our line. Okay. So what we have to do first is kind of take apart our equation a little bit. So I want to know, first of all, what the point is. So my point is going to be x1, y1. So looking at my equation, x1 is 2, y1 is 1. So my point is 2, 1. My slope is right here. So my slope is 2/3. So when I go to graph my equation, first I'm going to plot this point. And remember, when you plot points, you go along the x-axis first and then the y-axis. It's the opposite of slope. When we do slope, we do y and then x. But this is x, so we go over to 2 on the x-axis up to 1 on the y-axis. So our first point is here. Now we're going to use our slope to get the second point. Our slope is 2 over 3, which means we go up to right 3. So I'm going to go from this point up to over 1, 2, 3. That's really hard to see. And then if I want to add some more points to make my line straight, I could go down 2 and left 3, and that continues my positive slope. Do that again, down 2, left 3. And now I can draw a nice straight line. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, let's do another one together. Okay, so first I want to pull this apart. I want to say what my point is. And then I want to write down what my slope is. Cole, what would my point be? What's my x1? We're looking at this one. 4. Okay, what's my y1? Careful about that one. Because the formula has a minus sign in it, and this is a plus, what is the actual y? -7. Good. So when you have a plus sign, it's actually the opposite. It's actually negative, because remember our formula is y minus y1. So if we end up with a plus there, it means that our actual y1 was negative. What is the slope? Put your stuff together. Colin. Good. Okay, to graph this equation, Olivia, where would I start? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this actually, my graph needs to be extended a little bit. Let me do that. Let's go -6, -7. So we plot the first point, which is 4, -7. How do I get my next point? Sophia.
You have to go up 4 and
Well, careful, it's a negative slope.
down.
Down 4 over 5. Now, I'm already at the bottom of my page. I can't go down 4 over 5. What could I do instead? Give me the same effect.
Go up 4, and then
Yeah, to the left. Good. I could go up 4 and left 5. Boy, this is so hard for me to see. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And then I'm going to go left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that's going to give me a negative sloped line. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd have to go off the graph a little bit. So this one's really spread out. Little crooked, so that gives you the idea on that one. Okay, next one I want you to try. So, plan the graph. You can put it right on the same thing, maybe use the dashed line instead of a solid line. I'll probably use a different color. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video. Okay, let's start to go over this. Athena, what is my point?
2 and -3.
Good. And what's my slope?
-2.
Good. Hannah, how do I start my graph?
You can start at 2 and then go down -3.
Okay, let me use a different color. We'll do this in red. So I'm going to go over 2, down 3. So I'm plotting my first point. How do I plot my next point, Gabby? Not 3. My slope is only -2, so 1, right. So she's saying I could go up 2 and then left 1, or I could go down 2, 1, 2, and right 1. Okay, either way, you need to end up with a negative slope. If you forget kind of which direction, like, do I go up, down, right, left, what do I do? Check your answer when you're finished. You should have a slope. If it's negative, it needs to be going downhill. Okay, let me put a couple more points on here. Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So it should look like that. Okay, any questions? Go ahead, what's your question? How we got what? The slope of -2?
Yes.
Just pulled it from right there.
No, I got this from
how we plotted the slope. Okay, so the first point we plotted was 2, -3. The slope, -2, is actually -2 over 1, which means we go down 2 over 1. So from this point, I'm going to count down 2 over 1. And I can also, if I want to plot more points, I can go up 2, left 1, and it's still going to fit on the same line. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Let's talk about writing an equation from a graph. So when we write an equation from a graph, we have to choose a point so that we have that point, and then we have to find the slope, and then we're just going to plug them into our equation. So for this graph, there are a couple points I could choose from. This one is exactly in the middle of the grid, so that would be a good point to choose. Easier for me to see on my paper than on this board. The other one I could choose would be right here. So it is possible when you're writing equations in point-slope form that two people are going to have a different equation and it would still be right, okay? So say I used this point. I'm going to start with this one. What are the coordinates of that point? Volunteer? Gretchen?
Would be 3,
-3, -2. We have to go along the x-axis to -3 and then along the y-axis to 2. So this point is -3, -2. Okay, now I need to find the slope of the line so that I can write the equation. Volunteer to tell me what the slope would be? Dina?
4 over 5.
Good, 4 over 5. So if we go from this point to the other point that we have there, we have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our slope is 4/5. So our equation then, let's see, Lacey, can you give that a try to tell me what the equation would look like? Good. Good. Now, if you picked the other point, say you decided, I want to use this point instead. We can also write an equation using that point. Sam, what would the coordinates for that point be? 2, 2. So then our equation is going to look slightly different. Katie, can you tell me what the equation would be if we use the point 2, 2? Well, we don't have a negative sign here, so we want to do y minus 2. Okay, y minus 2. Same slope. Mm-hmm. Minus. Yeah, remember the original formula is x minus x1, so it would be x minus 2. These equations look like they are different equations, but they're really the same, and I'm going to show you why. Lacey, question? Because this is a positive slope, it's going upward, not downward. And if we go from a point on the left to a point on the right, we're going up 4, right 5. Okay. Now, let me show you why this would be the same equation. If I were to simplify this, I'm going to distribute my 4/5 to x and to the 3, so I have 12/5. Now, subtracting 2 from both sides gives me y equals 4/5 x. I'm going to say that 2 is actually 10/5. 12/5 minus 10/5 is 2/5. So I get 4/5 x plus 2/5. If I were to simplify my green equation, 4/5 times x is 4/5 x. 4/5 times -2 is -8/5. Adding 2 to both sides gives me y equals 4/5 x. 2 again, I'm going to say is 10/5. 10/5 minus 8/5 is 2/5. So when I simplify it, I end up with an equation in slope-intercept form, and I end up with the same equation no matter which point I used. So there are actually an infinite number of equations you could write in point-slope form, but every equation that you write in point-slope form is going to go to the same equation in slope-intercept form. Gabby? No, we're going up 4. Wait, no, we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, for when we're plotting a point, we go over first and then up or down. But whenever we are using slope-intercept, it's rise over run. So that's the up and down first, and then the back and forth. Okay, good questions. Any other questions? Athena?
Whenever we take a test on this,
Mhm.
are we gonna have to simplify it to?
We will eventually, yes. There will be some where I just ask you to write an equation in point-slope form. But remember when I told you when you guys were writing the equations in slope-intercept form, like the last one on the warm-up, and I said there's an easier way? It's actually easier to just write it in point-slope form first, once you get fluent with that, and then simplify it to slope-intercept. So you'll probably choose to do it that way. Okay, we're going to look at one more example, and then we're going to stop. We're not going to finish all of the notes today. Okay, so next example. We need to choose 2 points. Well, we need 2 points because we're going to determine slope. I'm going to go with, let's see, what I can actually see there. This one, I'm going to say. Well, maybe we're not going to choose 2 points. Let's see here. I'm going to pause this there. Okay, so that's my first point. My second point that I'm going to use is going to be this one. Okay, what are the coordinates of the first point up there? Gretchen, can you tell what that is?
Maybe positive or negative 1?
For this,
Oh.
this point.
Negative 2.
-2. 2. Let me actually use some color here. Let me change the color of this point. Okay, what are the coordinates of the brown point, Zane?
3, -1.
Good. 3, -1. What is the slope of that line, Rosa? Good. The slope is -3 over 5. We can see that the line is going downward, so we better end up with a negative sign in front of our slope. To get from the green point to the brown point, we go down 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, giving us a slope of -3/5. Okay, now remember, I could choose to write an equation using the green point, or I could choose to write an equation using the brown point. TJ, which point should we use? Green? Okay, I'll switch back to green. Can you tell me what to write?
1 -2 equals -3 parentheses x plus 2.
Good. So that's one equation we could write. Liz, can you, oh, no, there you go. Can you do the other equation for me?
Plus 1 equals 3 plus.
-3.
Okay. Parentheses x minus
Good. Okay, I think this is enough information for one day, so we're going to stop here. I would like you to do page 318, 1 through 3, and 8 through 18.
This one.